Hello and welcome to another episode of PodcastDX, where we bring you insightful discussions on various health topics. I like it. I'm your host, Lita, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Jean, Marie, and Ron. I read that backwards. Is that okay?
I guess.
Today we have a returning special guest, Derek Canas, also known in the DJ world as Derek, who is joining us today to talk about HIV, AIDS, and congenital heart disease. Welcome back to the show, Derek.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Derek, if I recall correctly, we last spoke to you in May 2019. You want to catch us up on how your life's been since then?
It has been pretty wild. I am still running around with the Grinch and Santa during the holiday season, doing the toy drive.
Nice.
I think we talked about that last time. And I have joined a group of heterosexual men that advocate for HIV and AIDS awareness in that community.
Good.
And I have spoken twice at Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
Once virtually, and this past year we were in person.
Wow, excellent.
So you've been keeping yourself pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been staying very, very busy. We're working on getting grants and getting different things done to just heterosexual men don't have a space when it comes to the HIV advocacy world.
Sure.
So we're building that now.
Excellent.
Okay.
Very nice.
And Derek, how did the COVID pandemic affect you, your family, and your work?
It affected work pretty big because it just everything, everybody was inside.
Mm-hmm.
It affected me personally 3 months ago.
Oh, did you catch it?
Yeah, I am not sure where I caught it, but I felt better after one day of not feeling the best. I went to work and my fiance texted me while I was on a gig. She took a COVID test and she was positive.
Oh, no.
And I swore up and down that there was no way. And I came home and took a test, and sure enough, I had it. 2 days, we both got through it pretty fast. So
Good.
Well, that's good.
Good.
That's good.
Let's go back a little bit, if you don't mind, Derek. Can you refresh us and our listeners as to your initial diagnosis way back when you were born?
My initial diagnosis was transposition of the Great Arteries, which is, I was known as a blue baby in the 80s, if anybody remembers that term. And so my lips would be kind of a blue color. And that was my initial diagnosis that sent me into a hospital and sent me in surgery. And because it was seen as emergent, family did not have an opportunity to donate blood. And so blood came from a blood bank. I was given multiple transfusions between the surgery and the recovery that took over 3 months. Also needed a pacemaker because of an error during surgery where they interrupted the stenotic node. I'm on pacemaker number 5 currently.
We had a bet going. We were up to number 4 for you.
Yeah.
We lost the bet. Okay,
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, I'm coming up probably on 6 within the next year and a half. And so I got the pacemaker, got all that, made it out of the hospital. Life was normal-ish. I thought every kid, just went to a cardiologist and had all the fun.
Sure.
I didn't really understand that I was that different growing up. And I was a normal kid. I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle. I climbed trees,
Right.
played in the creeks, built forts,
Yeah.
all this stuff, just lived life. There was no second thought about medical issues outside of cardiac until I started getting later in life. And then it was realized that I'm not growing on the pace of everyone else. My height and weight are not on pace with everyone else, and why? And doctors kept assuring my family that it was not a big deal, that it was due to my heart, that I had a heart problem. I would always be a smaller guy, be smaller. It wasn't until I was 15 and I was having the third pacemaker implanted. I had really, really bad time with that one. I came out of surgery, I wasn't breathing. They had to give me CPR to get me back. And I came home with a really bad cough. Couldn't get rid of a cough, so I couldn't go back to school. So had a teacher come in to teach me, and I ended up going to a pulmonologist. It was a friend of my mom's recommended this pulmonologist. So I go to him, and I walk into his office, and I'm 15 years old. I'm 4 foot tall and just over 50 pounds.
Wow.
Oh.
You were small.
So this guy automatically knew there was a problem. And the first thing he said to me was, "What are your medical problems?" And I kind of got defensive, and I said, "I've got a bad heart." And he goes, "No, there's more here. If your heart doesn't have a damn thing to do with your height and weight, like there's more." So he ran me through everything he could imagine. Any test that he could do, he did. Everything came back negative. Nothing showed up.
Okay.
So he ended up sending me to Gainesville, Florida, which is where I really was not fond of going because I live in Georgia. I'm a Georgia Bulldog football fan. Don't send me to Shands, Gainesville, the whole of the Florida.
I follow college football, so I understand what you're talking about.
But anyway, I got down there and met a great team of endocrinologists that started giving me human growth hormone. Human growth hormone, if anybody remembers, is what a lot of athletes kind of got busted for back about 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Because it really, really works really fast. I gained over a foot in height and over 50 pounds in about 16 months,
Wow.
17 months. But that was still below the estimates that they wanted for me.
Okay.
So the doctor that was seeing me was the head of endocrinology. So she was taking my chart into class. And what they do is they just mark out, your name, your personal info, and they just show it to med student. You have a patient presents with this, and this. You've done all of this. You still didn't hit your markers. Now what? And one girl in the class had the thought. She looked all the way through my medical records and said he had blood in 85. There's no record of an HIV test. And that's how the HIV test got brought up, was sheer luck.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. So the blood transfusion, it was done before the medical community knew to test for it. That's what actually gave you HIV?
Yeah, there was no testing available back when I had the transfusions. And there was no screening. There was no screening of blood at this point.
So, yeah, that was probably the source of many people then.
Right. Yeah. Actually, my grandfather received a blood transfusion during that same period and ended up getting hepatitis, which he wasn't aware of, and kept living his life. And he had heart conditions as well, so they were always focused on his heart. And in the end, it was
the liver that
his
took
liver
him.
that ended up, because he didn't even know that he had it.
But the fact that nobody knew that he got it from the blood transfusion,
Right.
and he was the father of 8 kids
Right.
and 2 grandkids that all lived in the same house, and we all put our toothbrushes in a glass together.
Which is
So we could have he could have given it to any one of us.
right.
Or-
Yeah, because it's quite different
Because it is passed by blood, and if there's any blood on your toothbrush and it gets on, so it could have been passed. But knowledge is power, and
that's not the case with immunodeficiency virus, which is known to attack the immune system and protect against, major infections. In that case, it's always passed by, like a bodily fluid. It's not
just by blood.
right.
Okay. Well, as someone living with a compromised immune system and a congenital heart disease, I know that you already told us that you ended up getting COVID a couple of months ago. kudos for you for not getting it for the first chunk when it
Yeah,
was
the
really
first
the
couple
most
years.
dangerous and you didn't have the vaccines behind you. What did you do to keep yourself COVID-free during that time?
I actually, and this is not medical advice. I do not.
Uh-oh.
I
We're
I
getting
just
ready to
took my
edit.
meds.
What's that?
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I just took my meds. I
Oh.
got extremely stringent on my meds.
Okay.
And if you pay attention to what is in, what's the Paxlovid now
Yeah.
that they give for
Right.
COVID?
The medicine, yeah.
One of the meds that's in that, I actually take every day.
Oh,
okay.
okay. Okay.
Well,
So
were
that
you-
probably
So
helped.
all they did was create an antiviral,
Mhm.
which I was already taking.
Got
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
I was not taking like huge, immeasurable steps to keep myself safe.
Okay.
I was just making sure I took my meds
Okay.
because they're not HIV specific. They're
Okay.
antivirals.
Okay. All right. Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
So any virus like is getting, just pushed out.
Yeah.
It's attacking everything.
And were you able to get the COVID vaccines?
I never got a vaccine.
Oh, you did not.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I stayed away from it because of the heart and everything else
Okay.
and the complications that were happening with it.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, yeah, my youngest grandson, we don't know if it was from the vaccine or from getting COVID, but he ended up having to see a cardiologist. He's a senior in college because he had some type of a change in his heart after he either had the COVID or had the vaccine. So I understand how you
God,
could
I
be
hate to hear that.
wary.
Yeah, I was extremely, extremely hesitant when I started reading and researching more, and the COVID thing just was. It was one of those things that showed up so fast. Like
Right.
all I did for months was I stayed home for 3 months,
Okay.
and all I did was read and
Mhm.
watch everything I could read and watch and get a hold of. And I've got, I was able to get documents that weren't being released yet through different avenues that I've got from advocacy work.
Right.
So I was getting reporting and different things with the vaccines and what was going on, what they were seeing, and looking at the bird's website and monitoring.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell us about your advocacy efforts to end the stigma regarding AIDS and HIV?
I am doing really well with that. Like
Mhm.
with the group I'm with now, like we're doing great, which is we're trying to get at least one heterosexual male in every state to be able to travel to the events of that state and to be represented in every conference
Okay. Excellent.
Yep.
because we're not invited. Nobody's ever reached out other than Howard University reaching out.
Okay.
They've been the first. So we're trying to build upon that right now.
That's
Excellent.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are there any new medical advancements or treatments for individuals living with HIV or AIDS?
I mean, there's the one pill a day that has come out. Biktarvy is doing pretty well. I don't have the luxury of taking that because with all the other, like, I have trouble swallowing pills,
Okay.
and the Biktarvy pill is like a huge vitamin pill,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and I'm just not physically able to take that. I'm
Mhm.
on a really old, actually, what they would describe as a pediatric regimen for meds.
Okay.
Because a majority of what I take is liquid and stuff that can be broken down and still taken.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, that's all right.
It's good
Whatever
that
works
it's
for
good
you.
that
Right.
it's available. Yeah.
Right.
But
Uh,
there's also a shot that's lasting up to a month, maybe 2 months now, but they're still doing studies.
Oh, okay. So that might be optional for you.
Yeah.
That
If
would-
I can gain enough weight, that's
Okay.
that's my issue right now is trying to gain enough weight to take the shot.
Okay.
Because you have to have a certain amount of body fat percentage for your body to release the med correctly. And
Oh,
I'm
okay.
below
Interesting.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask
You don't usually think about things like that, but
Right. And I do have a
Yeah.
question for you then after we're done taping about that.
Okay. D-Rec, what role has music played in your life?
Music saves me a lot. Music is where I go to escape. Music can change my attitude in 3 notes. I mean, it just turn the radio up. It doesn't matter, you know. I mean, it's all just a mood. It depends on what I'm about to go do.
All right.
Like I've got surgery, I've got pre-op playlist, I've got going to work playlist. I had a playlist this morning getting ready for
All right.
this.
All right.
Like
It's
going
good.
over notes. Like, I mean,
Good.
it's just one of those things. Like this morning, I was listening to Creedence Clearwater, Bill Withers,
Okay. That was going to be my question. What type of music?
like
Right.
Beach Boys, like some
Okay.
fun. Just
Have you ever heard of
cool
Paul
music.
Simon?
Oh boy.
Yep. Paul
I'm so
Simon.
sorry.
Yeah, I was playing ABBA. And, I mean, I just had a good like 60s, 70s, 80s mix this morning going.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Get your blood pumping.
All right.
And D-Rec, you were saying that you're having difficulty with the weight. What role does nutrition play in your life, and how are you going about trying to increase your caloric intake?
One of the best things I ever did, and I always thought everybody was lying to me,
Mm-hmm.
was get in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
My fiance loves to bake,
Oh.
and I have done nothing but gain weight since we've been in a relationship.
That's good.
So she has been a lifesaver in that respect. Like even my family, like they're shocked because she has figured me out. Like my family would do it not the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
but they would push food.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmothers would push food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what grandmothers do,
My-
just so you know.
And start hanging out
My
with the
fiance-
Italians, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My fiance doesn't do that.
Okay.
She will offer,
Mm-hmm.
and then she will just sit it beside me
Okay.
because she knows eventually I will.
Right.
Nice. Very
And
nice.
that has worked. That has worked. Like she figured me out better than anybody ever has.
Well,
and
that's
it's
good.
added. I've gained 7 pounds since we've been together.
Oh.
How long has that been?
Coming up on 9 months now.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
good.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
good.
gain,
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah,
Good for
that's
you.
very good. Keep doing that.
So with your work, I'm assuming you work a lot at night, being DJ, right?
I get back into it. Right now, it's a lot more private events.
Oh, okay.
Not really many venues made it through COVID
Mm-hmm.
too well to be around anymore, sadly. But yeah, like private events, I'm still doing pretty good with.
I guess where I'm going with this, when you're working, how do you keep up your energy level? What do you do to stay up?
I just turn the music up louder. have-
It's a very good
I
answer.
have-
I like it.
I have this really weird ability to switch my mind into being not Derek. I can turn into Derek,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and that mentality
Takes over.
doesn't have a health condition.
Gotcha.
That's
Like
nice.
that's the guy that jumps off the
attitude,
too.
speaker risers, that runs around, all night, that just go until the venue owner tells me it's time to stop.
Okay.
Excellent.
That sounds like fun.
What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of life with HIV or AIDS?
That it's a death sentence. People still
Right.
fear the diagnosis. And now it is a very manageable condition. Very, very manageable. I mean, it's comparable to so many other medical conditions. I mean, it's be adherent with your medication, and you can live pretty comfortably and pretty normally. Like, I am undetectable. I'm in a relationship. We have a very normal relationship. We don't do anything that anybody else wouldn't do. I mean, life's really not, it's not life altering like it was.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's definitely good to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, and things have come a long way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The worst part of it is the stigma. that surrounds it.
Yes. And that's
The
what
worst
you're.
part of it is dealing with people finding out about it and their reaction.
Right.
Okay.
So what do you find like when, like if you have discussions or you talk with people and you explain, how you contracted it and how life is now and that it's relatively, I'm going to use the word normal, but it's not a death sentence. How do people react to that after they actually hear you tell them? Does it change their mind?
I get a majority of handshakes and hugs
Good.
and very, very supportive reactions. It's been very, very nice. I was able to DJ an event not long ago at the local college. They did a color run, and I met some students and med students that just happened to walk by that didn't know anything other than I was just there to play music.
Right.
And we
Right.
started talking, and it got into that. And the guy I was talking to, like, shook my hand, and he said, "I'm going to give your card to my professor, and like, I want to have you come and speak to our class." He was like, "We need to have these interactions
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
Yeah,
great.
because
It's all about
where,
knowledge.
right.
yeah, and where I live in the southeast, we are the highest infection area in the country.
Mm.
Southeast U.S. has the highest numbers of infection.
Okay.
So me getting into colleges and into school is extremely important to me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Earlier, you alluded to your pacemaker. I think you said you're on number 5 right now.
Yes.
Do you, every couple of years you have to get a new one. Is that right?
Yeah, it all depends on, well, they last anywhere from about 7 to 10 years,
Okay.
but then it also depends on how much it has to kick on, basically. So, and I'm starting to fall back into atrial flutter.
Okay.
So this one's having to jump in a little more than I would like it to have to.
Do you feel it when it jumps in?
Every once in a while.
Okay.
I mean, not a whole lot, but yeah, like I will feel the flutter and sometimes the knocks when it will kick.
Okay.
But it's not. I don't. That's weird to explain it. Like it's not really a. It's not like a defibrillator. Like a defibrillator will like
Really
knock you
hits you.
back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Like this is more like just almost like an indigestion pain,
Okay.
Enough to
but
feel
it'll
it, but
just
not be altering.
yeah. Yeah, it's like one of those like, oh, what was that? Like that's what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any symptoms that you are experiencing due to the HIV or AIDS?
Um, Other than just, I mean, the advanced aging is like kicking my butt right now because I'm getting arthritis. I'm getting because of the HIV, like my spine is all messed up, so I'm having problems with my back and shoulders, hips, different things like that. I'm getting arthritis.
Okay. Are there any alternative treatments that you can use to help alleviate those symptoms?
I'm sure there probably are. I just haven't really looked into them. I'm really bad in that aspect.
Well,
Okay,
maybe
so,
your
like-
maybe that
Because
that girlfriend, fiance.
Fiance can help.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
like maybe massage therapy might help or heat
Right. Or
ice.
acupressure,
Yeah.
acupuncture.
I
yeah,
would-
I'm on a heating pad right now.
Oh,
And
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
it's
right,
90
right.
something
Okay.
degrees out. It's 90 something degrees outside, and I'm sitting on a heating
All
pad.
my
right.
gosh.
Well, hey, whatever it works, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So, D-Rec, what might be some of the less apparent parts of your life that have been affected by the congenital heart disease?
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's just, it gave me some really like fun, like funny stories. Like I've ended up in some really goofy situations, like because of it. I actually killed one.
What?
Totally.
You
I
what?
mean,
Who did
that
you
was-
kill?
You
Who
killed-
did you kill?
You killed one of your pacemakers?
Oh, not who.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the fourth one. Yeah. Third. Yeah, third one. I had done a remote check The battery came back and said that it was good.
Okay.
2 months later, I went to see the cardiologist, and they checked it in person. And when I went in, they did vitals, all that.
Right.
Nurse checked with the little pulse ox monitor that they clip on your finger, took it off, said it's been acting up all day. Grabbed another one, tried that one's acting up. She checked pulse manually, put me in a room, nobody talking to me.
Oh,
They just walked back out, tell me to lay down. So I'm waiting for my doctor to come in. Doctor comes in, I'm sitting up playing on my phone. And he comes in with the pacemaker tech. They hook me up, run the report. They all leave the room. Told to lay back down again. I'm not laying down. I want to know what's happening. So I'm sitting there. Doctor comes back in and he explains to me. He goes, apparently the remote read was wrong and your battery is 0.
Oh.
You have no pacemaker.
Oh.
And your heart rate is 36 beats a minute.
Oh.
I'm surprised you could walk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
they were
feeling-
too.
Okay. Were you feeling at all dizzy? Or
No,
lightheaded?
No.
Oh, wow.
no. That was the weird thing. Was like I had ran 2 miles the day before,
Oh,
Oh, wow.
my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
and the doctor explained it to me that I had been feeling great for the 2 months that
Mhm.
it was dead. And the reason I felt so great was because I only know life with a pacemaker.
Okay. Okay.
That's
So
true.
that was the first time having an unregulated heartbeat,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
even though it was not a correct heartbeat.
Right.
Wow.
I was feeling great.
Huh.
But they did this really weird demonstration where they took one of the latex gloves and filled it up with water
Mm-hmm.
and showed me what your heart should normally do.
Okay.
And then they showed me what my heart was doing
Mm-hmm.
and how water just poured out the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically my heart was overfilling itself with blood
Okay.
to make up for how much it needed,
Mm-hmm.
which weakens the heart muscle and is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to convince me to get another pacemaker. I didn't
Oh.
want one.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, excellent choice, though, I got to say.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm glad they talked you into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had to convince me because I mean, I really was feeling like I could tackle anything, and I didn't want anything to do with another pacemaker.
Wow.
Okay. Well, at least as far as I know, the pacemakers over time have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. So are you
Yes.
getting a smaller one every time you get a new pacemaker?
They are getting smaller. What's really getting cool is the remote check technology.
Okay.
Like the one I have now comes with what looks like a remote control for a TV,
Uh-huh.
Mhm. You can't mix
and I
those two
just
up.
turn that on.
Don't be
Yeah,
turning
I
on the
just turn
power.
Yeah, I take that out of the box every 3 months,
Okay.
and I just scan it over top the pacemaker, and I open an app on my phone, and it sends a remote report. It's
Wow.
really, I mean, it's
Wow.
been wild to watch pacemaker technology for almost 40 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it used to be I had like a suitcase and you would have to wear these bracelets and you had to plug into a landline.
Oh, wow.
Like there was but now it's all wireless. It's an app.
Oh, that's great.
And can you use a microwave and a cell phone safely?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the old days you couldn't even.
when people had pacemakers, there were signs on the microwave oven saying "Don't use if you have a pacemaker." So I
Right.
guess
Oh, my fiance got on to me the other day because she just got back from going back home. She lives in Washington State or lived in Washington State.
Okay.
Well, she came home and she had her smartwatch,
Mm-hmm.
which was one of the things she hadn't packed. Well, she went to use her computer and her computer started acting up. And we couldn't figure it out. Her computer was fine. I never touched her computer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was gone and it was a joke that it was me. Well, she
Oh.
figured it
Oh.
out the other day that it was her smartwatch.
Oh.
Moving over some part of the computer was causing the screen to flash and causing it to totally turn off.
Huh.
So she's been on my butt about probably moving my smartwatch to my right arm instead of my
Okay.
left arm
Oh.
Okay.
because
Okay.
for
I'm really
safety.
bad
Yeah.
about keeping my left arm kind of close to my chest.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Learned something.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
with everything opening up now? Because they're opening everything up. I'm not going to say that COVID is over, but
And I
Okay.
read that on here. I'm like, what?
yeah, they are opening everything up, even though COVID is still here. What are you looking forward to in the next year or two?
Just being able to travel. I'm looking forward to being able to travel with my fiance to
All
make
right.
as many memories as we can.
Have
Sure.
you been to
We've
Washington State to visit where she came from?
Yep, I actually went out there twice during COVID. I
Okay.
flew out there. I went, got to see Mount St. Helens,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
the next trip we went stayed at Alki Beach just outside of Seattle.
Nice. Yeah, traveling is fun.
I really loved it out there. I love the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Good.
do
We
too.
do too. And D-Rec, what support have you received during your health journey, and what role have your friends and family played?
They've played a really, really big part, and they're really supportive of everything I'm doing. And especially my new family, my fiance's family is extremely, extremely supportive.
Nice.
They
Great.
they have given me, I mean, an insane amount of support that, I was just amazed by and in awe of. I mean, I thought that I would never have a relationship in the first place, much less like people embrace me. And her father is actually he's a federal agent back when he was working, and he
Okay.
also was a private eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that as soon as my name got around their house, that, all my social media got pretty deep dove into,
Mm-hmm.
and her entire family has sent messages of support and seen interviews and read.
That's excellent. It's
Yeah.
good to have everybody on your side.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's really neat to have somebody that, had no clue who I was, 2 years ago. Like
Yeah.
being so supportive.
That's great. It's been a good couple of years for you. What role
Yeah.
has self-care played in your life?
Self-care
Mhm.
plays a pretty big part, and I work out a lot more. I make a really big effort. I moved out with her, and we live in a neighborhood with a nice, we've got a bunch of big lakes and walking paths and stuff all through, so we make an effort to get out and stay as healthy as we can and move every day, get
Excellent.
in all our steps. Like we challenge each other, through our phones, like who can walk more?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
all throughout the day, like, what's your step count? What's your step count?
What do you have a goal daily?
6,000 for me.
Okay.
I'm not sure what she has for her.
That's a good amount.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's good.
And D-Rec, what advice do you have for someone recently diagnosed with HIV or AIDS?
Don't go on WebMD.
Okay.
WebMD kills everybody. Stay away from the internet. The
Okay.
internet is that will send you down a rabbit hole of just dark despair. If you are going to go on the internet, find me and I will point you to the right resources.
Excellent.
Yeah, very good
Yes. Well, we're going
information.
to definitely put your links at the end of this episode so they can reach out to you.
Ironically, that goes into the next question I was
Okay.
going to ask.
All right.
Right now, we're working as an affiliate. I don't know if you knew that. We're working as an affiliate with a medical supply warehouse here in the U.S. Are there any supplies or medical equipment that you absolutely cannot do without? You don't need to mention any brand names if you don't want, but if one brand does stick out and seem to work better than anything else, I'm sure our audience would like to know.
I use my fitness watch, my Samsung Gear watch, like
Okay.
daily. And I use the meal tracker on my phone.
Mhm.
Like, use a lot of apps to track my calorie intake, the amount that I've been active, like all of those things. I need to get more like weights and different things. I'm shocked I'm still in a relationship based on the amount of musical gear that I've packed in the garage that we can barely put a car in now.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to build a gym in there, like I'm not really ready to push that yet. But
You'll get
I would
there.
Yeah.
like to eventually get that in there too.
Yeah, you'll get there. And Derek, before we wrap up this episode, could you tell us how we can learn more about you and your advocacy efforts? You want to share any of your social media accounts with us?
All these social media links can be found at derekcanas.com. DerekCanas.com.
All right.
And they'll be right at the top of the page. And there's curated content every day. There's news and new articles that will pop up. There's a blog that I need to get better about writing every day. But yeah, that's the way to get in touch with me. That'll
Excellent.
take you to the Facebook page. That'll take you to Instagram, all of it.
All right. We're going to put a link.
And
We'll put a link for you.
and you can also find the link to some music stuff. Some
No,
DJ
absolutely.
stuff
All
that's
right.
on there too.
And we can purchase Operation D-Rec on, I know we can get it for Kindle through Amazon.
Okay. We could put that link on there too.
Yep, I'll send you guys a link. My fiance has actually made Etsy stores
Oh, nice.
cool.
with she redid the logos for DREC and the End the Stigma campaign.
All right.
recently.
Yes. Send us that
Fantastic.
link
Yeah.
for sure.
Excellent.
So all that gear and everything has just been redone.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, Derek, thank you for coming back on our show again. We're going to continue to follow you, and we want to hear more about your progress ending the stigma surrounding HIV and AIDS.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Derek.
All right. If our listeners have any questions or comments related to today's show, they can contact us at PodcastDX@yahoo.com, through our website, PodcastDX.com, on Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
And if you have a moment to spare, please give us a review wherever you get your podcast.
And as always, please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. And always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regime. And never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard on this podcast.
Till next week.